morning, leaning into Lent, preparation for elevation. Preparation for elevation. This is part 4 of this whole series this week. Let's look at the text, the talk, and the takeaway. You already know it. The text, the talk, and the takeaway, Exodus 3, 4, and 5. Exodus 3, 4, and 5. You know this scripture well. I want you to hear it with some new revelation with respect to Lent. God called to him being Moses, within the bush. Moses, the 5th verse. Take off your shoes, for the place you are standing is holy ground. Moses, come here. Take off your shoes, for the place you're standing is holy ground. Let's talk about Lent with respect to Moses and look through the lens of his life as to how we look at this number 40. Remember, earlier this week, I was sharing with you that Lent is 40 days leading up to the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus Christ. The church has set that time aside so that we might prepare. We prepare by fasting and praying. We prepare by suffering, in many ways by resisting or denying ourselves pleasures so that we might be able to better associate and better connect with Christ in his walk to the cross. Now, Moses had 3 sets of 40s. And that's what we want to talk about right now. The first set of 40 was when he was in the palace, when he was in Egypt, when he was working with Pharaoh, and he was learning the system of the Egyptians. The second 40 is when he is on the backside of Mount Sinai. He's on the backside of the mountain. He is now tending to the sheep of Jethro, his father-in-law. The third 40 is when he's in the wilderness. The second 40 is what we want to deal with this morning, because 40, as we said, is significant with respect to Lent. Lent is 40 days leading up to the crucifixion and resurrection. Here is what I want you to grab in this moment of the 40 that Moses has been into. 3 things I need you to grab a hold of that. Now, notice that when God called Moses out of the burning bush, Moses then responds. Now, I want you to grab something from the outset, just a contextual thing that I want you to get. When he called Moses, he calls his name twice. Moses. When God gets ready to do something great in your life, he calls your name twice. He doesn't call the position that he's bringing you to. Let me say that one more time, because so many times we hear a position, we don't hear our name. When we think, oh, God, you're getting ready to elevate me. God, this is about to happen in my life. That thing is about to happen in my life. And we look at the position that we think God is calling us to, when in fact, you better wait and make sure that he's calling your name. If he's calling your name, he'll put you in a position. So let's get into the 3 things that I want you to grab. The first thing is, in order for Moses to move forward, because he's been 40 years preparing, the same 40 days that we prepare for the crucifixion and the resurrection. Here is Moses now. He's prepared to lead the children of Israel because he has been leading sheep for 40 years. If you can lead sheep for 40 years, you can lead the sheep of people for 40 years. Okay, grab this. He says then, in order to move forward, don't look back. So Moses, take your sandals off. Why sandals, you ask? Why shoes? Why is that significant? What does that say? Because your shoes reflect where you've been. That's where you've been walking. When you take off your sandals, you take off where you've been. And therefore, you're barefooted for God to put some new sandals on your feet to where you're going. So the first thing is, moving forward means not looking backward. Not looking backward. Here's the second thing. The second thing is, the dirt of the past will not prevent you for what God has for you. The dirt on his sandals, God is saying, the dirt of the murder, the dirt of all that you've been going through, the dirt of the life that you live up to this moment is not going to prevent me from bringing you into what I have for you. My grace is sufficient. So often we think that God won't do anything else in our lives because of the dirt of our lives. And what he told Moses, take your sandals off. This is holy ground. I'm bringing you to a brand new place in me. And my grace and my holiness is sufficient to cover the dirt of your life. Drop those sandals in the dirt that you've been through. Here's the third thing that I need you to grab a hold of. The pain of your past contains the plan for your future. The pain of your past contains the plan for your future. Here is Moses. He's being called into a whole nother level. And now you got to know he's thinking about the mistakes that he's made, the errors that he's made, and how now he's 80 years into 80 years. 40 in Egypt, 40 on the backside of the mountain. I'm 80 years into this. He has to have some kind of pain that he's dealing with. But I need you to grab a hold of this. The pain of his past was the plan for his future. The pain that you're dealing with right now has a plan in it. It has a plan in it. And you got to understand that that's what God has called you into and through, in preparation for what he has for you as you lean into Lent. What's your takeaway this morning? Your takeaway is this: practice Lent and prepare for your elevation. Practice Lent and prepare for the elevation that God has for you. The Lord be with you today. May his face shine upon you, give you peace. I'll see you tomorrow morning as we wrap up this leaning into Lent. Gonna have more word for you. You already know what to do, Manna fam. Hey, share this. Don't keep it to yourself. Share it. God bless you. See you tomorrow morning with more Morning Manna.